And this is amazing. I posted the power rankings because I had them done. I was working on them last night watching the football game. So what the hell? Why wait until 9 o'clock? Number 1, Ravens. Number 2, 49ers. Number 3, Bills. And the Bills aren't even in the playoffs yet. They're number 3, and they're not even in. And there's a chance if they lose and the Jaguars and Steelers win, they don't make it. That is amazing to think. Going into Week 18, the team that is number 3 in the league might not make the playoffs. It'll be determined Sunday night, NBC, last game of the season, game number 272, Bills at Dolphins for the AFC East Championship. And for the Dolphins, it's either, 2 seed or 6 seed. The winner's going to be the 2 seed. And if the Bills lose, we'll know by then the full stakes. By the time they start the game, we'll know if it's win and be the 2 seed or lose and not get to the playoffs at all, which would be a hell of a swing. That's a hell of a swing. You win, you're the number 2 seed only behind the Ravens. You lose, and you go home, and you're done. And again, if the Jaguars and Steelers both win going into Sunday night, we will know those are the stakes for the Bills. But either way, it's the perfect kind of game to end the season with because it's for a division championship. It's for the number 2 seed, and the consequence is going to be a low seed or possibly no seed.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's the perfect way to end the football season. AFC's, division rivals, right? We've seen some exciting games from these teams. This will be the 5th time they play each other in the last 2 years, right? I mean, Dolphins made it close up there in the wild card game last year with a 3rd-string quarterback. I can't wait to see it. I really can. And yeah, it's crazy that Buffalo could, with the circumstances you kind of laid out, could end up not in the playoffs. And we all, and I think anybody watching football, would go Buffalo's definitely one of the best teams in football over the last 5 to 6 weeks. There's no question about it. And seriously could be a major player in the AFC, and I don't think it would shock any of us if they ended up in the Super Bowl, which is shocking if you went back to Chris Sims and Mike Florio 9-8 weeks ago, but not so shocking, if you've been watching football the last month. So can't wait to see that game Sunday night. It's going to be a good one for us.
I talked to Rasul Douglas from the Bills after the win over the Patriots. He had a couple of interceptions and one he took back for a touchdown. And I wanted to know when the turning point was because he's a guy who came in with a different perspective. He was traded by the Packers to the Bills. Kind of an underrated, very impactful storyline for both conferences because his departure from the Packers made them lesser on defense and his arrival made the Bills better.
Yeah.
And the Packers may not make it and the Bills still may not make it, but the Bills are better than they've been. It turned when Sean McDermott addressed the team after the hit piece came out. I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, but it was clearly a hit piece on Sean McDermott. Even if it was 100% accurate and rooted in fact, it was still a hit piece on Sean McDermott. Once that thing came out with the 9/11 story from several years ago at training camp, he met with the team after that, and that's, again, you take your natural fuel and your organic motivation wherever it comes from. For the Ravens, for the Bills, it was the article about Sean McDermott that kind of tore him down and made him look bad, and they rallied around him. And according to Douglas, that was the turning point. The question is, did they turn with enough time left to dig out of the hole that they'd made for themselves?
Yeah, that'll be the big question. And again, hey, hopefully they have a big week of practice, and of course, our full all systems go here because last week, you explained they rallied around McDermott. It's been really good, but it's 2 games in a row here where it's not great football. I mean, again, the Chargers and Easton Stick made them sweat it out on December 23rd. The Patriots game, I mean, if Bailey Zappi doesn't throw some of the dumbest interceptions you've ever seen in your life, I mean, I don't know. It felt like New England kind of outplayed Buffalo in a lot of ways. So, that's what's interesting, too. We got 2 teams playing for an AFC East title where one team got annihilated and certainly could be a little bit self-doubting at this point, let alone they lost their best defensive player, who was their second best defensive player because the first one got lost already in Jalen Phillips. So to not have that, and then, you got the Bills who, yeah, they're flying high, but they got to be a little bit like, we haven't played our best here lately. I think that adds to the intrigue here. And then, of course, the two quarterbacks and what they got at stake, and, of course, how big they are in our league, it all makes the game a lot better.
The Dolphins are down some players. We talked about Bradley Chubb. He's done. Torn ACL confirmed on Monday. Xavier Howard, star cornerback, week to week with a foot injury. Week to week is not good. Day to day, okay, maybe we'll see him. Week to week, we're not going to see him this week, and maybe we won't see him in the wild card round either. He's got a foot injury that he suffered in the first quarter of the blowout loss to the Ravens. Tua Tagovailoa, shoulder injury late in the game, left and didn't return. Tua said Sunday he's sore, but he's good. Mike McDaniel said on Monday he's not worried about it. So that's good news for the Dolphins. And for the Bills, Josh Allen's got some neck soreness, but they don't expect it to affect his preparation for the Sunday night showdown in Miami. And we've seen this coming for the past few weeks. Once the Bills started to turn around, it's like, hang on. Holy crap, there's a way that Week 18 is going to be for the AFC East Championship. Even though it felt like we'd already kind of unofficially handed the crown to the Dolphins, the Bills were still in play, and they got just enough help with that loss on Sunday by Miami and Baltimore to create the scenario where all they have to do is win this game, and they're the champions, even though it felt like they'd been left in the dust.
Yeah, no, I want them in, of course. I mean, I think we both want them in. We talk about it all the time. We want the 7 best teams, and I don't think there's any doubt that in the AFC, the Bills are one of the 7 best teams. I want to see the Miami Dolphins in as well, right? So I would not be mad for my own personal viewing purposes if, hey, maybe a Pittsburgh somehow lost to Baltimore, or even Jacksonville lost to Tennessee, to make sure that, okay, both the Dolphins and the Bills are in, but at least now they're playing for the 2 seed and the AFC's title, which is still plenty important. But because I do not want to see the Bills not in this playoff and then see a team that is a little bit underwhelming or boring get in instead of them. I don't want that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.